All right, so let's start. So before I just want to describe what is a character inside of. I know I touched base a little bit during last week, the overview. So in Motionbuilder, you have what's driving the character is these joints that you build inside the Maya, like a modeling program. And then if you want to add a control rig on top of these bones, you have to use something in the asset browser here in the templates characters. You have to use something called character. So you drag this one inside the scene, and then it becomes a motion builder character. Okay, and that's what you see here. You see in the drop down here, you have this character. It's already added, so obviously I'm going to show you how to do that with a Mixamo character. But I'm just explaining the process now. So you bring in the joints and the mesh, and then you add a character, and then you turn this character by assigning the bones. You see here, all these bones are assigned here inside the character template. So now these bones are assigned to the character, and then if you have animation on the skeleton, which we will do from Mixamo, the animation is on the joints right now, so you have to bake it on the control rig. Control rig doesn't exist yet. It's only being driven by, if you look here in the source, so this character is only being driven by the skeleton. None means skeleton, which is like the joints. So if you want to activate the control rig and bake those keys, you have to click the character button, bake control rig, always three dots. So because the control rig doesn't exist, it asks you for a FK, IK, always, and bake. So now you have the control rig with the animation, okay? The thing is, before we do any of this, we need a character in T-pose, okay? So what is a character in T-pose? It's basically this. If there's no animation on it at all, this is how it's supposed to come in, okay? So let's go to Sketchfab and try to find something that has a T-pose and it has a mesh, right? We need a mesh with the texture. So what do we search for? Explore characters. Where is it? Characters and creatures. Might want to expand this. Just get a little bit. So you can spend hours and hours in here. So if you type T-pose, let's see what happens. Anybody use Sketchfab before? You guys, you know your way around it?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay. So you need an account. So just use your Facebook or Google account. It should work. So this one is not really good. I would choose more this one because it comes with a T-pose. So you don't have to worry about the arms being in a T-pose. Okay. So I tried to use this one on the weekend. The textures didn't load, so that's one problem you're gonna probably face when in the future when you start. You have an idea, you want a medieval character or something like that. You try to download it, but it doesn't have the textures, neither in Maya nor in Motionbuilder, so you have to choose something else or find a way to apply those textures. So just keep that in mind. The two formats that you should be, yeah, see here when you go click download, Sorry, my computer is super slow today. See, the two formats that are okay to use is Fbx and Obj. Okay, those are the two ones normally have no problems. But you can, again, you can download an Fbx, but the text, even though the textures are there, they're not going to load for some reason. It's just the way it was created. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to choose this character. I found another character that worked, so just to save time, because we only have about an hour for the lecture. So I found a Venom. Oh my god, this is so slow. Why is it so slow? I'm not running anything in the background. Yeah, it's very strange. All right, we'll see. We'll keep going. We'll see what happens when we load Maya. It might crash. Okay, so Venom, where is she? So I found a good character here. She was good proportional character. I think it was Venom female.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Is there a way to know which ones are free and which ones are like that you have to pay for? Because everything I click on says like between $20 to $4.
Normally, if you click downloadable,
yeah,
that means it should
be.
It should filter out the free ones. Okay.
Okay.
So now, just let me find it. The one I. Normally, if you click on the link and you're able to click on the download link, that means it's free. But that filter, the downloadable, what is it? Downloadable only, should give you only the free stuff.
It doesn't. I did click on.
Oh, it doesn't? It still gives you the ones you have to pay for? Yeah, that's weird. So maybe, yeah, I know it's not perfect, but there's a cost here, no?
Just the ones that you have to pay for have a little dollar sign on the top right corner, so just don't click those.
Dollar sign, top right corner.
In the preview window, there's like
oh, here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess there should be a way to sort it out by price too, but yeah, it is strange. Anyways, I mean, yeah, if you can't download it, just look for something else, unfortunately. There's other websites too. There's Turbo Squid, there's oh man, so slow. Okay. Next time I'll reboot my PC. Oh, it's so slow. Okay. I'm gonna skip the sketch file because I downloaded it before. Unless it should give me maybe female.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If we're looking right now for a model, do we need them to be like a complete T-pose, or can it be just like they're in a pose with their arms a bit like separated from the body?
An A pose is okay. I believe the Mixamo can adjust afterwards because you have an option to download it as a T pose. But sometimes, even after you download it as T pose, you open it up in Motionbuilder, and he's in an A pose. So you still have to tweak it in Motionbuilder, because Motionbuilder, the way it was built with T pose in mind. It doesn't work without the T pose. So let me see what the name is, because I downloaded it last time. Venom Fbx. Okay, that's right. Fbx. So this is it. So yeah, see, there's no $sign. That's a good tip. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't know who said it, but thank you for the tip. So yeah, download. Usually this one is not clickable, so that's why. So download Fbx, and then we have this file. So when I open it up, gonna close Sketchfab. I think it's all the previews that are slowing down. Probably go away. So when I open I unzip the file, unzip it, folder, source, Venom. Again, there was a RAR file. RAR file is you need WinRAR. If you find a .rar file, just download let's see. WinRAR. It's like WinZip. Some people use it, so it's freeware. It's freeware. It's open source. So just download it and open it. So inside Venom folder, there's. I'll delete all this. Wow, what's going on? Sorry, I need to figure out what's going on. Is it Chrome? Nice. Okay. Well, let me kill everything. See if I. I wonder if it's my capture software, but I did that on the weekend. I was fine. Okay. No, it's still chuggy. So if I open this file that I downloaded, so here's what I get. So I get a mesh and the bones. So the bones it's already skinned. So I get the fingers, I get the tongue, everything. So the toes are not in the good place. So the toe bones should be roughly here. So normally something like this is pretty good to start with. So you can actually, we could have skipped Maya portion and the Mixamo portion and just start working in Motionbuilder, but a lot of the meshes that you download from Sketchfab, they won't be that clean, okay? There's also extra bones here that you don't really need, what we call roll bones. So instead of being one bone from here to here, there's two bones. You don't really need them in Motionbuilder. They're just there for extra skinning kind of control, better skinning. So what we're going to do is we're just going to open this in Maya. And let's see, I'll show you what you need to do, the step you need to do to take it into Mixamo. Right. Let me just open up Mixamo as Maya's opening. I'm guessing everybody has an account for Mixamo. Pretty much. Okay, still loading. So, I mean, I encourage you to use the same Venom Fbx character for this assignment, unless you find another one that's that's nice and clean as this. Because look at the proportions are really good. If you choose a cartoony character, it should work as well. So I'll leave it up to you, but just to get comfortable in Motionbuilder as a first assignment, if you want to use the same character, go for it. Yes?
Sorry, could we just re-go over how to import into Motionbuilder?
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'll redo that step. This is I was just showing you what that file contains. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll go through that after Mixamo.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Sorry, Maya is a bit slow on my machine. Okay. Actually, before we start, I wanna talk about a little bit organization of your folders. Okay. So I'm gonna inside my Winter 21, I'm gonna create the Motionbuilder class, I guess. And inside this, I'm going to create a couple of folders. So characters is the T-pose characters you download and use, okay? It's always good to start thinking about organization now, because once you start building your previs, you're going to have a lot of, a bunch of characters, a bunch of animations from different sources, mocap, from Mixamo. Sometimes you download stuff from online. It's a possibility. So it's always good to stay organized. Okay, so maybe anims or anim Mixamo, maybe anim clips. We'll go through that with the clips later on. And maybe one more for later, assembly. So assembly is where you put all the pieces together, the characters, the mocap, the clips, everything you put together. So this folder will be used later on in the when you're building your previs. I'll put one more for props in case you're going to use props. But for today, probably we're going to use this and this. Okay, so just to keep it organized. Okay, so Maya's open. I will open the Venom one, just drag and drop. And textures with this button. Oh, it's really slow. Okay, so we have the same file we had in Motionbuilder. The skeleton, joints, everything. Before we go further, I want to talk to you about scale. So scale is really important before you go into Mixamo. What scale, by scale I mean is if we go in the front view here, if I knew where the ruler is in Maya, I probably would use it, but my cheapest way to get a ruler and to get measurements is to use a cube. Okay, make sure you're in centimeters. If you click this guy here, animation preference, and go in settings, make sure you're in Z up, and the working units is centimeters. Okay, so you have an idea what's the height of this character. Okay, this is really important. Z up before you merge, and the units is centimeters. So
Where do we
now
find the preference tab? Sorry.
it's this one right here. It's the little guy running with a gear. Did you see it?
Yes, all right.
Yep, animation preference. So after I put the cube and I put it right on top of his head, her head, I should say, and I open up the channel box, and this is the height of the character, okay? So it's a normal 185 or roughly 2 meters, okay? But let's say you merge a character, he's like 5 meters, he's a giant, he's 500 centimeters. Everybody knows centimeters and meters? I'm guessing yes. So if you're not comfortable with the metric, with the measurements, just type it in Google and to get the transformation, the conversion. So 185 centimeters is roughly 2 meters. So let's say you want him, yeah, let's say that this character that you downloaded from Sketchfab is 5 meters. So you don't want him to be a giant in your layout. So you want to scale him to 2 meters. I'm going to use the 2 meters for today to show you how to properly scale a character so you get it ready to upload to Mixamo. Okay? So I want the 2 meters, so I type in 200 for the height. So this is the height I would like. Before, is it this one? Okay, so technically we don't need the skeleton because the skeleton, the joints, you know, the joints will be driven, will be created from Mixamo. Okay, so what do we do? We could just delete the joints. Delete. Okay, I'm just gonna press delete on the keyboard. Okay, and this guy we can now scale this one. Okay, this node on top, we could just scale it. We scale it up until his top of the head meets 2 meters. Okay, so that's your 2 meters. Now it's ready to get uploaded, but you have to do one small thing before. So if you look at the mesh, this is the mesh and this is the node on top of the mesh. So if you look at here, the scale is 111. This is good. So the mesh is scaled, but the problem is this node has a bit of scale on it. That's the scale we just added. So we need to, and it has rotation on it. So we need to zero out back to 1 these scale values so that Mixamo will maintain the same scale. So how do we do that? We go into modify and we click on freeze transformation. Okay.
Sir, I'm sorry, can I just stop you?
Yeah.
Can we go back a few steps? I feel like a lot of us are pretty lost.
Is it the video is chugging? What?
Oh, it's just everything's going a little bit fast.
Too
So we don't
fast?
really have time to follow the steps at the same time.
Okay, but remember that you're gonna get a video at the end of the class.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you miss,
So we,
yeah, that's why I'm recording the lecture. So I'm gonna upload it to YouTube.
okay.
So
All right.
yeah, so don't worry about catching everything, but I'll redo it. It's not a huge deal. But up until where? Because if I keep redoing stuff, I won't finish in an hour.
No, that's fine. I'll just watch the video. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Yeah, I would, if you want, I would suggest that just taking notes about the important notes, but rely more on the video after for steps. So yeah, this thing should have reset it to 0, but I guess it doesn't. So let me see if I can duplicate the mesh to get rid, because I want to get rid of this this node. So once I upload it to Mixamo, it's just the mesh. Okay, so let me try to duplicate. Duplicate it under this. And if I create a group now, sorry, I'm not the expert in Maya, but I'll try to see to get away from the I want to get rid of the node. How did I do it on the weekend? Copy. Okay, so maybe that's it. And ungroup, and then ungroup. Okay, so I'll redo this step because it wasn't perfect. So so this is the node, and this is the mesh. Okay, so I want to duplicate the mesh. Okay, so I do go copy. It's student version. It's okay, and then I go paste. So it creates a group with another mesh based on this. Okay, because these are all nodes. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of these groups and just keep the mesh and export this one to Mixamo. Okay, so what do? I select the group, ungroup, and select the group again and ungroup. And now I have a new mesh. I'm going to delete this. So now I have a new mesh, but it's upside down. So I need to rotate it. Okay, so I can't rotate it because of the translation, rotation, and scale, they're locked. So the way to unlock it is you select these in the channel box, you right click and go unlock selected. Okay, so now we should be able to rotate it. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Let's put 90 here. And then obviously the scale is off because we deleted the node. So let's just scale it back up to 2 meters, right? This is the box here. to 2 meters. And now we do the freeze transformation. So look at the values here. Rotate, scale, they're a bit off. So what do I do after freeze rotation? Boom. So now it's 0, 0 and ready for Mixamo. I know this step is a little bit confusing, but it's you need your mesh to be resetted with all the values at 0 and the scale at 1 before you upload it to Mixamo. Just think about it. Think about it like that. Like remember that once you download your mesh. Okay, so now there's nothing else in this scene except, well, the cube. We can delete the cube as well. Now we're ready to export this file as an FBX to Mixamo. So export all. I'm gonna go to my Motionbuilder class, characters, FBX, Venom. Be specific so you don't get lost in the naming. Venom from Maya. Oh, I forgot to check the settings. So super important in these settings here. There's one thing, it might be off by default. It's called Embed Media, okay? So if this one is off like this, you need it on. What that means is if you have it off, the textures will not be included in the FBX, okay? You need the textures, you click on Embed, and you can keep the version at 2018. Let's try 2018, because I think they recently update the Mixamo, so it should take it used to be not be able to take the last version of the FBX. So it should be okay now. So upload, Mixamo upload. I will go to my character folder and just prep this. Upload, click sign in. I thought it was already signed. Yeah, you can use your Facebook or Google account. All right, upload, just drag and drop. All right, we're in business. And then next, you know this step, I'm guessing. Chin, right hand, right elbows, knees, and groin. Next. So scale as well is super important, because once you're in Mixamo, it's always better if you're using mocap from Mixamo. It's always better to download the mocap or animations on the same character, because some of the characters inside Mixamo have a weird scale. Like I've used one character, he was like 6 meters height, and once you try to use it on a 2 meter, it applies the scale, because you import the Mixamo animations on the skeleton, right? So just keep that in mind later on. Once you start using mocap from Mixamo, download the mocap on the character that you upload, right? Or use a character that's similar in height if you don't want to re-upload it and go through this step. So everything is good, fingers there, everything's there. Yes. Okay, so the assignment is creating a character in T-pose and downloading a minimum of 2 animations. So I'm going to show you. Okay, let's download. We download this character in T-pose. Download. Just to get, you know, the Mixamo character in T-pose by default. You know, we need it, right? Okay, so I'm gonna rename this from, it's not from Maya anymore, it's from Mixamo. Okay, go back. So I'm still in characters. Wow, super slow. And I'm gonna download just add 2 animations, okay? Actually something, capoeira, maybe something a little bit more fun. Okay, so I want this one, download. By the way, you have some, I don't know if the teacher told you, you have some settings here to tweak the animation if you want to have fun with it. So when you click download, to download the animation, 30 frames with skin, you don't really need the skin because you have the skin from the T-pose character, okay? Keyframe reduction, no. So just download. And maybe doesn't really matter, something. Okay, that's good. Download, same thing without. Boom. Okay, so go back and download. These are the 2 mocap animations. And I'm gonna put them in anims, should I, just to be more precise. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in anims Mixamo. Okay, so now we're ready for Motionbuilder. So new scene. And I will first load my character Mixamo, the one I downloaded from Mixamo. So you go File, Open, All Takes. If you guys remember, do you guys remember what the take is from the overview? Anybody? Nope. So the take is, by the way, if you first time open up Motionbuilder, it's like this. It's in timecode. You want to see frames, you just right click here. No. Is it time? Yeah, frames. So if it is showing time code, you just switch to show as frames. And now you have frame 1, 2, 3. And before I forget, change your undo values. So by default, it's only 10. So put it to something like 100. This is new. Okay, that's okay. Undo level 100. I have to see what that. what that thing means. Okay, so we have, this is the Mixamo character. As you can see, the joints are really nice. See the difference? Before, the toe was here. So these are the kind of things you want to watch out. Actually, they're even a little bit off, so it's not perfect. It's okay. We're not. It's not a rigging or skinning class. It's more of a motion builder. But in general, it's really good. You know, the joints are in the right places. Mixamo does a really good, nice job. Okay. So before we import the Mixamo characters, I want to show you. So yeah, to orbit around, yeah, sorry, I already started using keyboard shortcut. So to orbit around the scene, it's this one. The keyboard shortcut is Control Shift and Orbit. Panning is this one. If you hold down Shift and left mouse, you pan. Okay. And zoom is wheel mouse up and down. Okay, so I want to show you the hierarchy of these joints. Okay, so you have your mesh and you have your hips. The thing is, you need to create, before we start doing anything, we need to create a node at 0, 0 of the scene in world space on top of the hip joint. Okay, reason being is that node will be used for scaling the control rig if you need to. Like if you remember one of the films from last year, there was a like scale up the character. He became a giant. So if you want to do something like that, you need that node on top of the hip joint. Okay, so it's really easy. All you need to do is go in templates, elements, click on this little guy to get a better list. And you'll see here a bunch of items. One of them is called null. So just drag and drop it in your scene. I'll show you a little bit of what we call a schematic view. It's kind of like the outliner in Maya. It shows you all the nodes in the scene. Okay. Before I do that, let's put that node at 0, 0. In translation, rotation should be okay. Let me see. Yeah, rotation is okay. So if you want to see the schematic view, you go View and Schematic. That's where you see the mesh, the joints, and the null we just created. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to parent, or I should say make this child of this. Okay. The way to do this is you hold down Alt and just drag and drop it on the null. You get a little pop-up, just go parent. Okay. It's super simple. Just hold down Alt and drag and drop to the null. So now if I move this, move and rotate is here, it will move all the guys. So this just became the parent of the joints. Okay. Okay. I forgot one step. I'm gonna undo the parenting, or should I say usually unparent from, if you do a mistake, you unparent the child from the parent. Okay, so you click on the child, unparent, confirm. The step that I forgot is right now this character is going through the floor. So see, this is the floor. So we need to bring him up his feet to the floor. Okay, but that's pretty good. We look at the right view. Where is the right view? I know by default it's Control R. Oh, did I lose the app? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I lose the display of the keyboard shortcuts. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so front, orthographic right. You can see the right view. Okay, so the 0, 0 is here, so I just need to push it back a little bit. Or I can just zero out here. So on Z, I want him to be at 0. And on X is a little bit off, so I'm just going to put it at 0 as well. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll just put this to 110. I'm a stickler for even numbers. Okay. So now we can parent it back because now he's pretty flush with the ground. Okay. So again, select the child, hold down Alt, hold your left mouse and click drag to the parent. So now if I select the null, he should be moving. Okay. I'm gonna save this scene as, anybody wants to take a guess? Mobu, Motionbuilder, industry lingo. Make sure this thing is embed, just like Maya. It saves the textures inside the Fbx. So just by default it's on. Just make sure it's on. Okay. So we have two takes here: the default take 01 and the Mixamo. Strange. Why are they different? Anyways, we'll go with the Mixamo one. We don't need the other one. I can delete it. Z feet, okay. Yeah, okay. So I'll name this one T-pose because I'm not gonna use this one as animation. Okay, so now it's time to characterize this Mixamo character. Okay, if you go on templates, character, just drop this in to the scene. You will previously there was nothing here if you noticed. So I'm just gonna delete it and redo it so you guys can understand what happened. So as you can see here, there's no character folder in the navigator. Okay, so as soon as you drop one in, it will be added. Okay, so I'm gonna call this guy, and now it's being added here. So you have in the character drop down, you have the new character you just dropped in. Like I showed you last week, you can name this guy to Venom. And now it shows up here. So the next step is we need to, so the character template is right now is empty. Okay, it's all grayed out. So what we need to do is we need to add these bones, these joints, to the template. Okay. So the way to do this is you just select, I'll start at the hips, you select the hip, select this hip and go right click and assign selected bone. Okay, see now it became green. Okay, so that means this one is assigned to this. Okay, and we do it for the rest. So spine, we have another bone here for the spine, so you need to go into this little sub menu, okay, because on this page there's only one spine bone, but there's a couple of spine bones here, right? So you have spine 1 and spine 2. Whoops. Okay, little trick. If you don't want to select, obviously you're not going to animate the mesh. So select the mesh, go in groups, create Venom mesh, and just lock it and remove the translation. So what that does is you can't select it anymore by default, okay? If you want it back, you just select the group and you make it pickable, okay? But that's the way to kind of freeze, same thing in Maya when you freeze the object, the selection of the object. This is the similar. Okay, so we did the spine 1. Want to do spine 2, you go into this little tab, right click, assign selected, one more spine bone in the same page. What's next? We choose the shoulders. Just be careful with the shoulders. You need to check which one you've selected. So this one is the right arm, so you need to select the right arm here, not this one. So if you're facing the character, it's the same side here, okay? But if you're doing this, you might make a mistake. So always make sure what you have selected here and what you have selected here. Okay? So right arm, assign. So a nice feature in Motionbuilder is there's a mirror matching. So once you assign the right side, it will assign the left side for you automatically. We don't want to miss the clavicle, so you need to go in this little sub page and select this one, not this one. This is the extra, so it's always the first one in the template, in the character template. Whoops. Right click here, then go back out, choose the elbow or the forearm, right? Forearm, and then the hand, and then the long ones are the fingers. So if you go in the sub, you need to do every single bone. I'll be checking the fingers too, so just make sure you do them, please, because later on in polish, if you don't have the fingers on your character, you will end up with this and you will lose 10% because this is not normal. It should be in a kind of a relaxed pose, okay? So please make sure you do the fingers. Alright, hopefully the fingers are mirrored as well. I haven't done this in a long time, so. Alright, and the last one, a couple of last ones. Nope, I missed it. Okay. Yes, so it's mirrored on the other side. Let's do the neck. So the neck, same thing. So it's this one. Because in here it's only the head bone. So if you should add the neck as well. So I believe it's this one, the first one. Yeah, yeah, neck. Assign, and then you go up, select the head, right? Head, and assign. Same process, boring process for, I'll save. Same boring process for the feet. So you don't have to worry about the toes for the feet because the Mixamo doesn't create it. Okay, so this one is left. So I need to select the left. Same. And foot. And then the toe. Okay, that's it. The last one is the node we just created. You know, the parent node, this one. So the one in the template you need to assign it to is this one, right between the feet. Okay, so now it's complete. If your character was in an A pose, it will probably give you a warning here. So all you need to do is straighten up the shoulders by rotating the joints. So anyways, we'll get to that once you start building your character, but just keep that in mind. If you see a warning here, like an orange sign, know that you don't have a T-pose. That's probably why. Okay, so now we finished the characterization. We mapped all the bones to the character. We can lock the kind of the template. Okay, so you click on lock, this one. It will ask you, do you want to create a character, a biped character or a quadruped? Obviously a biped. And now you're ready. You're ready to import Mixamo animation. So I'm going to save this scene. Save it like this because this is a character by itself, okay? The next step, as I start adding the mocap, I'm going to save this scene as something else. The reason is I separate my mocap or animation input from my character T-poses, because anything goes wrong with that file that I'm importing animations, I know that if I save it separately, the one in the character T-pose one is untouched. Okay, so it's kind of a safe somewhere in another folder. Okay, so instead of saving it in characters, I'm gonna go in animations, anims Mixamo, and I'm gonna call this file batch, because I'm going to import 2, so you're probably going to import more than 2 later on. So I'll name it batch the date or character or whatever you think will help you remember afterwards that, okay, yes, this batch is for Venom and it's the date, you know, today's date, let's say. So 2021 02 3. Okay, year, month, date. So this is just to help you later on organize yourself. Okay, so now the Venom character is being driven by the skeleton. The controller is not active yet. So all we need to do is merge in those mocap that we downloaded. Okay, so I go to my anim Mixamo folder. This is the file that we just saved. And I just drag and drop one of the anims. And I go merge. I don't want to open it. This is the crucial step, very important step. You click merge and go to options. Okay, please merge options. So you will get this box. There's few things you need to change in this one. In here, right, by default, it's the option to merge is it will add a new character. Okay, we don't want that. We want to use the joints in the existing scene and just merge in the animation on top of it, okay, as a separate take. Okay, I know it's a little confusing, but you understand exactly what I mean. So if I keep it like this, I'll keep it like this and I'll show you what happens. Okay, I go merge, and then what happens is I have another joint in there. I have another skeleton now. So I really don't want this. Okay, so I want to be able to merge it, and the translation rotation on these applied to this. Okay, so that merge is not the option that I want. So I'm going to reopen the file and then merge options, and in here right click on top. So append is what's there. See, if it says plus, then that means it's wrong. So you need to choose merge all elements. And what that does, the merge, is it won't add a new skeleton. It will just overwrite the one in your scene with the new data coming in. Okay, by adding a new take. So if you remember last time, each FBX can have multiple takes, and what a take is, it's an animation by itself. So you can have a jump, you can have a run, you can have a dance, all in the same FBX. Okay, so keep it like this. You can rename the take right now, or keep it as is and just merge it. Okay, so now what happens is you still have the T-pose, and we have another take called Mixamo, and doing the little dance. Okay, so I'm going to merge the other one and show you the other option. Okay, so if I go merge again, options. So instead of importing it as, because if you keep now the same name, it will overwrite this one because it's the same name. So what do you do to solve this? You double click here, as take, not this one because you can't really change it. This is kind of the input, and this is what's going to show in your scene. So I would just change this one to, what's it called? Shoved reaction with spin. So shoved, I'll just call it shoved. Okay. See, again, by default, it's appending, so you don't want appending. Just be careful. Just the two things you need to check is it merging or appending, and change the name of the take. So I'm just gonna change it to merge, and now merge. So now see what happened here. It's called, the one I just typed in is now called shoved, and I still have the Mixamo one, which is the capoeira. So I'm just gonna change the name of this take. If you know by mistake you import it as Mixamo, you could just name it here, rename it. So if you go in the navigator You have your T-pose, you have your Mixamo, you right click on it, rename, and just type Capybara. And you have the shoved. All right. That's it. I'm gonna save. We're almost done. So now, just one last thing I want you to practice is how do you bake. Again, we talked about last class and the day in the beginning. Is right now this mocap is being driven by the joints. There's no control rig because we haven't created a control rig yet. So if I just change, sorry, I'm gonna go to T-pose. If I just change the source to control rig, okay, the T-pose is correct, but if I go to Capybara, oops, I just lost my animation. So the reason is we didn't bake from the skeleton or the character to the control rig. We just switched on the control rig, okay? So does anybody remember how we do this? Or everybody's tired, just wanna... Okay, so I just switched back to see the animation, to none. The way to do this is bake, character button, bake, control rig, 3 dots. Because you have 3 takes in there, you have the T-pose and 2 other ones. Check this guy on, plot all takes, so it's gonna plot each take by itself. Make sure 30 FPS is on, remove the constant key reducer and plot. So now what do we have? We have the control rig, the T-pose. We have the Capybara, and we have the shoved. All right, that's it. That's the assignment for next week. So take the Venom, put it in Maya, upload it to Mixamo, download it, characterize it, do the characterization, and then import those 2 clips, minimum 2 clips, 2 motions from Mixamo, and then bake it on the control rig. Okay? That's it. I'll stop the video because